All right, welcome back, everybody. So, as I said, this is part 2, and we're going to go through how to write a great application. And I'm going to be using Upwork as the example platform. So, I'm going to log into Upwork. If you don't have an account, you would obviously hit the sign up button. So, I'm going to log in. We're going to talk about how we add the filters and what exactly we're looking for. So, over here is where you'll be able to find the filters, and you can find this by just typing something into the search box in Upwork. It will bring you to right here. I typed in VA. It'll bring you to the search area, and now you can filter. So depending on whether I'm applying for a job for my agency or personally, I will either go anywhere from expert to entry level. Let's just drop it in the middle for this example. So it's going to immediately start to filter it here. You'll see the different amount of jobs that are under the intermediate level, and you can choose from there. Hourly or fixed price jobs, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're new and you're looking for, more options, obviously hourly has more jobs in the category than fixed price. So let's go with hourly. That's my preference too anyway. Number of proposals, now less than 5 and 5 to 10 is usually where I stop. During COVID, I would sometimes go 10 to 15 if I was really looking for a contract, and I know that I could stand out in that category. But for the most part, it's less than 5 to 10. I don't want to apply for a job that has 20 to 50 proposals already, because the client is already so swamped with applications. It's going to take a lot more for you to stand out in this category. Now, this is new. COVID-19 related jobs. As you can see, there are none right now, but I'm sure there were during COVID. Client info, payment verified is 100% must. You have to have a payment method on file for me to even consider you, because if you don't have this on file, I'm not necessarily covered under Upwork's payment protection because you don't have a payment method on file. Now, this is up to you. If you want to find somebody who you can see their work history and you can read reviews on the from the people that they've hired in the past, then you can choose client history, so you know you're getting a good client. No particular location, no particular talent cloud. You can the budget I usually only select if I am looking for fixed price. Project length, if you're looking for long term, you go more than 6 months. If you want something short term, any of these up here will do. And the amount of time you want to work per week, whether it's part-time or full-time. So as you can see, there are less full-time right now, lots of part-time jobs. So you can just select one, whichever one you prefer, and it automatically filters every single time you select one. So now you can see all of these things here. You can save this filter by clicking the save search, and you'll always have access to this particular filter that you set up. So as soon as you come in on Upwork, when you're on your home page, you'll be able to see your saved filters. So let me just show you what that looks like over here. So I gave it a name. So I have a CS filter, and I just have this one called filtered search. So that's how it's going to show up once you save your search. All right, so we found 2 perfect jobs. So this one right here, it needs an experienced Shopify e-commerce customer service VA, immediate start. Up here, you'll see if they have a particular place where they want you to work. So they say worldwide there. Here you'll see the job requirements and how they match up to what you had selected. So I didn't select anything for how many hours I want to work. So this is a full-time job, long-term project, intermediate looking pay. And for intermediate, their concept of intermediate is between $5 and $8 an hour. They want it to be an ongoing project. Now we're just going to scroll to the bottom. This one does not have any questions outside of you when you set up to bid. You're just going to have to fill out the cover letter section. So this is a perfect one just to show that. And on top of that, this particular one has instructions. It's really, really important for you to read the entire description, not only to see if you're a good fit for the job, but also to make sure that you follow any instructions that the client might put in the job description that people who just skim over it or who just put generic answers into cover letters don't see. So right here, they want you to Put the name of a former the former US president into the title of your description so they can see that you read it and you pay attention to detail. It also says here that the rate that they want to pay, even though they put between 5 and 8, is $5 an hour. So now you're able to make an informed decision on whether or not this is a job for you. And also, you can put this in your cover letter. You can look at the criteria, make sure that these are things that you're familiar with or willing to become familiar with. And down here, you can see the kind of freelancer that they're looking for in terms of preferred qualifications. You don't have to have all of these things to apply. You can apply anyway, even if you feel like you're qualified for the position, apply anyway. You never know. I've gotten jobs that I didn't fit all the criteria, but I applied anyway. So you have to have earned at least $1,000, English level fluent. You take an Upwork test for that. On the Rising Talent Cloud, I'm not on that anymore. Job success score at least 90%. I don't have a success score anymore because I haven't applied for a job in a while. Upwork tracks that metric by how often you get jobs that you apply for. So you can look at people that they've hired previously down here and see ratings that were given to them. This is the rating they give to the freelancer. This is the rating the freelancer gives to them. And if the person decides to write a review, you'd see it here also. So they have somebody currently working in this position that started in April of this year. They've done 920 hours, so it's stable work. Clearly, this person is okay. You can also click on this person's profile to see what this person looks like if you want to do a little more investigation before you apply for the job, just to see the kind of person that you're looking at. All right, so we're going to just go ahead here and submit a proposal for this job. So you see how many connects the job requires at the top of the page. This one is going to take 6 out of my 70 connects. So that's how much it is going to need. And now the skills that you see here are good to see, so you know what you need to add into your cover letter. If you have any experience in any of these areas, it's good to add that in the cover letter because these are the skills that they're primarily looking for. So for me, I have extensive email support experience, answering product answering product questions, communication etiquette, order tracking. I have experience in a lot of these things. I'm trying to see if there's something that I don't have experience in. I've never used Freshdesk, but it's similar to Zendesk, which I have a lot of experience with. So nothing in here that I haven't done before, but just in case if there is, focus on highlighting the things that you're really good at and bumping those things up instead of highlighting the things that you're not good at, just like we're applying for a regular job in the real world, you know. We list our strengths. So this is my current profile rate. So whatever is on your profile is automatically going to fill out immediately. So you can change this to whatever. The client said they're willing to pay $5. You can decide if you want to go. Okay, so here's another thing about Upwork. Upwork charges a fee. And the fee is taken out of whatever hourly rate is at the top here. You get whatever is at the bottom. So they tell you that you'll receive this $5. When a client tells you how much they want to bid or you're bidding for the job, you have to keep that in mind that whatever you put here, this is not the full amount that you're going to get at the top here. You're going to get minus the fees at the bottom. Now, you start out at 20%. Once you've earned $500, you go down to 10%. And once you've earned over 10%, you get down to 5% in terms of how much fees Upwork takes. So over time, the amount that you pay will decrease. So you can bear that in mind. Now here's the cover letter section, and this is the only area that you're going to fill out for this job in terms of an application. While on the second job, this job is set up exactly the same way, except they have questions. So these are some questions that they want you to answer when you're applying for the job. This particular job, they have had people that they've hired before, less than 5 applicants. You can see what they're looking for. You can read the entire thing. This one requires calling, so you have to consider that. Do you have a space where you can do calls? And is it something that you're comfortable doing overall? So let's look at what the questions look like on this proposal. All right, so this is what the proposal looks like with questions. So you'll see the cover letter at the top here, and then you see the 2 questions that were there here. Now, here's a very, very cool tip. because I also have hired freelancers on Upwork, I know that as an employer, when you receive an application from a client, the first thing that you actually see are these questions. You see the cover letter last. So I always tell people to nail it in the questions. Whenever you see a proposal with questions, nail it there and then seal it with the cover letter. The cover letter is going to be the last thing they see. You want to grab their attention immediately when they see a proposal, especially if it's a good job and you think that a lot of people are going to be applying for it. All right, cool. So with the cover letter, we want to nail a few things. Understand that they can see a lot of your work history on your profile. They can check out your profile in order to find a lot of the basic information about you. What you're doing in the cover letter is you're selling them on why you're the person for the job, which means you're going to talk about job-specific experience only. You're going to talk about job-specific highlights in your career. You may even give job-specific scenarios about problems that you solve for other companies. Let's say you have Shopify experience and you noticed when you were working with another client, you were the person who was able to pick up an error with shipments. You have an eye for detail. That's something that you're going to highlight. Don't think of it any differently than a regular job. That's what you're going to do here. So I'm going to attempt to do an example. This is not the kind of job that I would normally apply for, but we're going to work with it. So you can see the whole proposal up here. So you can always go back up and read it. All right. So they say fast learner, attention to detail. So the example that I gave would have been perfect. Long-term role, daily work to complete, answer and respond to incoming email, yada, yada, yada. Pay attention. Okay. Got it. So here's an example. So first of all, I always start off with gratitude, Even taking the time out to look at my email, just something. Okay. I'm such a slow typer sometimes. Application. I always start off with something like that, just to show my personality, just to show that, whatever way you decide to go, I'm rooting for you, I have no ill will towards you. And usually that statement is, just saying something, just being yourself. Just be yourself in that first line. You wanna say something that can grab them. It doesn't have to be anything like this. It doesn't have to be gratitude. At one point I was using something like, I know that I'm the perfect candidate for this position and I'm excited to get started working with you. Sometimes it's that, it depends. It just depends on the job. So you can do something that is your personality, but you can go either way. You can start with something like this. Then you get into job specific stuff. So I have extensive experience with email support. I've done email support for over 6 years, and I've managed teams of email support personnel in that period of time as well. In terms of Shopify, I've been using the Shopify platform both personally and work-wise for the past 3 years. I've, owned a successful e-commerce business, and on top of that, I also have helped clients to grow their e-commerce business because of these customer service that we provide. It's fast, it's friendly, and people have, gained trust in us because of the kind of service that we've provided. So job specific things you want to get into. Then they talk about qualifications up here. So job specific is when we're looking at these tags here, these different things that you can do. Then qualifications are here. They want somebody who pays attention to detail. If you have an example of that, don't be afraid to pull out those examples. Of times that you've caught something, you've paid attention to a detail and it saves something, If there's one, as I said, there's one thing on this list that I don't have experience with, and it's Freshdesk. I'm just not going to mention it. Freshdesk is these apps these days, these online apps, they're so easy to learn. A YouTube video, a full day or even half a day or even a couple hours of watching YouTube videos can get you learning how to use some of these apps. So it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal for you to say, okay, to not mention whether or not you have a Freshdesk experience. You can leave that until the interview if you'd like. You can let them know you're a fast learner, so it doesn't matter, right? So that's how you would apply for something that has a cover letter, job specific, give something to grab them in the beginning, and also talk about the qualifications that they mentioned specific to you. Give examples if you can. That would be great of your job experience. Cool. Now let's look at the one that has the questions. Now this one says, what part of the project most appeals to you? I can tell you that these two questions are generic questions that Upwork gives clients the possibility to add when they're creating the job. So these questions aren't customized for this job. These are just some of the questions that Upwork allows the client to ask. So these are the ones that they chose, and they must have chosen them for a reason. So we're going to answer them, and you want to put your best effort into these. Now, what parts of the job most appeals to you? Let's look at the job, right? So this is what they're looking for. Somebody personal, build rapport, empathize. It's a sales job. So you're going to be making cold calls. So let's say you're into this, sales is the most important part of the job. So I would say that this is the part of the project that should appeal to you. You want to hit it hard in this first part. So you want to talk about the sales aspect of the job. If you have sales experience, if you're willing and eager to do sales, if you have a very friendly personality, you're the type of person that gets along with everybody, mention these things here. Let them know that, hey, I have the personality that you're looking for. What past project do you have that's like this job, and why? If you've ever had one, a sales job of any kind, even if you used to sell lemonade. One of my employers, they had a keto company, and I used my experience of doing keto personally and losing so much weight as my example in my application, and I was able to land that job. So don't be afraid to get personal. Don't be afraid to just be yourself. Get a little goofy. Just remember, when they ask these kind of questions, make it as specific as possible to the job. Generic applications don't work. Some people actually come on here and just copy and paste applications. You're not going to get good jobs that way. You're not going to get quality jobs that way without appealing to the client. Now, on both applications, you can upload project files. This is mostly used. I've used this when I've done writing jobs and I needed to show like my work. But you can also find us on my profile. So usually the client asks for something. If they ask for something like, for example, a voice recording, some people want to know that your English is fluent based on the country that you're in. You can upload a voice recording. Sometimes I don't even have to ask if it's a calling job. I recommend a voice recording just overall. And there are free apps online where you can record it and download it. So you don't have to make a big deal about getting anything paid or anything like that. Just record and send. All right. And on top of that, you don't even have to do that these days. There's actually a part on your profile now where you can upload a video. So if you just want to direct them to your profile and say, you have your video on there, that's cool too. Or you can attach. So basically, this is what it looks like. And those are the components of a good application. That's how you set up your filters. That's how you do all of those things. So once you've looked for the perfect clients, looked for the perfect job, within that filter now, you found the person that you want to apply for, and you're applying for jobs, multiple jobs, not just one person. Don't just apply for one job and sit by the phone and wait. Once you've applied for jobs, now you're going to get to the interview section. Some clients interview via Upwork. Some clients want to talk to you on Skype. It just depends. Some clients talk to you over the phone. But they just want to they want to feel you out a little bit. Want to make sure that you're the perfect person for the job. They might have additional questions that they want to ask you, or they might pull in a pool of people. Let's say they narrow it down to 5 applicants and they want to see who is the best person for the job. So the interview stage is next. In the interview, it's going to be like your regular day-to-day interview. Nail it. Sell yourself. Sell those points that you had before. Make sure you're selling them on the things that you put in your proposal. And you can always find your proposal again when you're going to find work. You can see the proposals that you've submitted, so you'll be able to see everything there and refresh your mind when you're going into the interview, right? Now, once you've done all of this and you've nailed the interview and you've gotten the job, because I know that you're going to get the job once you follow all of these things. Also, just like a sidebar, when the client reaches out to you, if this is your first time on Upwork, you'll be able to figure it out. But when the client reaches out to you, it's gonna pop up in the messages section. So that's where you'll be able to find everything. But yeah, so once you get the job, then now you're at the point where I feel like a lot of freelancers fail, and this is why a lot of people don't maintain and grow a large income in freelancing. And I'm gonna tell you exactly what that is in part 3. So look out for part 3 this week. It will be coming out, but from here you can apply it to different platforms. You can use these same strategies on Guru, these same strategies on Fiverr. These are the strategies that I've used on these platforms to get jobs, and that I've given to my friends who are employed on different platforms. There's only 2 people that I've helped to get employment online that have used Upwork. A lot of them have used other platforms, but the tips, they go across all those platforms. So in part 3, we're going to be talking about what to do once you've landed this job. Don't miss it. Set your notifications. If you're not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button below because you do not want to miss this. And if you're watching this after the live events have happened, subscribe anyway. There will be tons of content that is great for you. A lot of how-tos, lots of things and tips and tricks to get you through this year. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.